Lesson 264, Jesus Christ's 7 sayings on the cross. Jesus thought of others who crucified him. He thought of the repentant thief. He thought of his mother. And he thought of us. The first saying Jesus had was Luke 23:34. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Guys, Jesus prayed for his torturers. Isaiah 53:12. He made intercession for the transgressors. That was the chief priests, the Jews, and the Romans who were killing him. 1 Corinthians 2:8. Had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. Jesus is the Lord of glory. The lesson is we should pray for our enemies, and this shows the greatness of Christians' behaviour. Worldly people seek revenge. Christians take hatred with patience and prayer. The second saying of Jesus on the cross, Luke 23:43, was to the repentant thief on the cross. He said, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said, verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. This here, the thief's, this shows that paradise, heaven, is where we go when we die. There's two things that this thief showed. First thing is, a saved person goes straight into heaven, the body goes into the grave. Number 2, it shows a future resurrection from the dead. Number 3, it shows salvation is by faith in Jesus, not by works. Because the thief on the cross did not have any time to do a lot of good works, he was being crucified. And so is the other thief. Some people reject salvation. And paradise is a Persian word, paradis, meaning a beautiful garden of trees, flowers and fountains. Here we have a picture showing that Jesus and the saved thief went into the earth, into paradise. The unsaved thief went into hell. Then we see the next. Okay, 4 kinds of people at the cross. There were the careless people who stood watching, the religious mockers, verse 35. There was the money-hungry soldiers gambling for Jesus' clothes, verse 34. And there were the truth seekers in verse 42. Jesus, the soul winner, sought to lead people to salvation even when he was on the cross. Let's have a look at the saved thief for a minute. The saved thief had very little information, but he knew 7 things. He knew that death was not the end, as it is for us. Death is just the doorway into the next world. Number 2, he knew about his own sinfulness. We receive the due reward of our deeds. Number 3, he knew Jesus Christ's sinlessness, verse 41. He said, this man, Jesus, has done nothing amiss, nothing wrong. Number 4, he knew that Jesus is God because he said, Lord, remember me. Number 5, he knew he needed a mediator. He said, remember me, meaning Jesus was the one who has the keys to open heaven's door. And he knew that Jesus is the King when thou comest into thy kingdom. And he knew, number 7, about Jesus' second coming, when, verse 42, when thou come. See the word come, that's second coming, into the kingdom. The third words on the cross, John 19:26-27, was to Mary and John, woman, behold thy son, John, and disciple, behold thy mother. He was saying, Jesus told John to take care of Mary, his mother. Question, why was Joseph not around? Maybe Joseph was dead or very old and sick. Matthew 54, 56, 55, 56. His brethren, James, Joseph, Simon, Judas, and his sisters are with us. So we see that James wrote the book of James, Judas wrote the book of Jude. At this time they did not believe in Jesus, but they changed their mind after he rose from the dead. Mary lived with John, and history says she died 15 years later. So if Mary was aged 21 when Jesus was born, Jesus lived 31 years, 15 more years would mean she died about age 69. And then number 4, saying on the cross, Matthew 27, verse 46 and 49, Jesus says, my God, that's the Father, my God, the Holy Spirit, why hast thou forsaken me? So Jesus is operating through his human nature here. And Jesus quotes Psalm 22, verse 1. Why? Because Jesus was bearing all the sins of the world, and God the Father and God the Holy Spirit cannot look on sin, and so they forsook him for that time instead of us being forsaken for eternity. And Jesus was separated from God the Father and Spirit for 6 hours instead of us being separated from God forever. Number 5, Jesus said, John 19:28, I thirst. And Matthew 25:35, he will say to people when he returns, I was thirsty and you gave me drink. And this is a lesson for us to help other Christians who are thirsting or who are suffering in some way. Number 6, John 19 verse 30, Jesus said, it is finished. That's the word tetelestai in the Greek. Perfectly finished, so nothing can be added to it. This word is used by an artist describing his painting as perfect, and a servant telling his boss he did a perfect job, and a debtor paying off a loan so he owes nothing left. Jesus paid our sin debt in full is what that verse teaches. So question, will you finish your life work that God gave you to do? Soul winning, Bible teaching, making friends. Genesis 2:1, creation, God said it is finished. John 19:30, Jesus on the cross. Revelation 16:17, at the end of the 7 vial judgment. 2 Timothy 4:6-8, Paul said, I have finished my course, my race. I have kept the faith. Number 7, Luke 23:46, Jesus says, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And quoting Psalm 31:5, the events after Jesus died, centurion said, surely this man was the Son of God, Matthew 27:54. Temple curtain was torn in two from top to bottom to show that Jesus' death opens heaven's door for us. And number 3, Matthew 27:51-53 shows the earthquake